A long time ago, the Vikings, who were like pirates searching for treasure, had a king. The film shows us this time, almost 1,000 years ago. The king, seeming to return from a war, comes to the river with his soldiers. Strangely, he leaves a small sheep in the river, but his daughter is trying to stop him. She is worried about the consequences of his actions. Suddenly, a massive creature emerges from the water and devours the sheep. It then attacks and kills all the soldiers. The reasons behind the king's actions and what he was seeking in that place remain a mystery. Only the king's daughter survives and runs away. The story then jumps many years into the future. There was a man named Sigurd who loved studying old things like ancient objects. Sigurd spent a long time studying Vikings, who were people from a long time ago. He and his wife believed in some ideas that not many people believe in today. Sigurd and his wife did a lot of research on Vikings. They discovered that the Viking ship had traveled very far from where they lived. People found the ship and some old things from the Vikings, like artifacts. But nobody knew why the Vikings went so far away. Even now, no one has the answer. Sigurd really wanted to find out why the Vikings did this. He thought maybe they went far away to hide their treasure, but there was no proof of this. Because of that, not many people believed what Sigurd and his wife said. Sigurd has 2 children. Sigurd's wife got really sick with cancer and passed away. Sigurd had a job in a museum, which means he worked with old and interesting things. Sigurd was so busy with his work that he didn't have much time for his kids. His daughter felt sad about this. Sigurd liked studying and learning about many things. There was a special event called a presentation happening at the museum where he worked. The boss of the museum told him, "Only say important things in your presentation. Don't talk about anything that doesn't matter, or they won't support our museum with money, especially not your project." So, Sigurd starts his presentation, but the people listening weren't very interested in what he was saying. During the presentation, Sigurd shared a unique idea. He said the world might end one day. He believed that Vikings went far away to hide their treasure from enemies, and we should find out more about it. But people at the presentation started laughing, and the investors refused to give money. Even Sigurd's boss thought it was nonsense. Sigurd felt sure about his ideas. He worried that if no one believed him, all his research would be wasted. He and his wife had studied a lot and thought Vikings went from Heisenberg to Finnmark to hide their treasure. But Sigurd needed a map to prove it, and he hadn't found one yet. He spent so much time thinking that he forgot to pick up his kids from school. When he realized, he quickly went to get them. It was a rainy night, and Sigurd was lost in his thoughts when the doorbell rang. Alan, who worked with Sigurd on their project, made a discovery. He found some old things, artifacts, and was really happy about it. Alan told Sigurd that he had something exciting to show him. Sigurd was thrilled because it meant their research was successful. Alan took out a stone with writing in a different language. Sigurd could read that language, so he read the words on the stone. The writing told a story about the Viking king and his soldiers going to a river where something scary attacked them, and they all got killed. Surprisingly, the king's daughter survived, just like the story they were exploring. On the stone, there was a mark that matched the locket of the king's daughter. Sigurd felt like he had seen that mark before. They both went to the museum where Sigurd still worked and used his keys to open it. In the museum, they found the locket, and when they placed it on the mark, it fit perfectly. Because of this locket, Sigurd figured out some puzzles that showed the way to go where the Viking king and his soldiers had gone. Now, Sigurd made up his mind to go to the place he had been researching. He needed to prove that his studies were right. He also convinced his children because he had promised to take them on a tour. Sigurd spoke to Ellen, and they both believed that the Vikings went far to hide their treasure. They weren't sure about the scary monsters in the story, but Sigurd, Ellen, and the children got ready and went to Finnmark. Sigurd had arranged for a tourist guide named Elizabeth, who came with a driver. When Sigurd showed Elizabeth the map, she said the place they were going to was in the middle of the mountains. They all went there, and because there was no snow on the mountains, it wasn't too hard to travel. When they reached the river they needed to find, the road ahead was closed. The driver explained that many centuries ago, there was a war between 2 kingdoms, and this place was captured. Even though no one was there now, some rules from the past still applied, and there were a lot of mosquitoes in the area. In the thick jungle, Sigurd's daughter puts lotion on herself to keep away bugs. While talking, Elizabeth learns that Sigurd's wife, the mother of his children, is no longer alive. Elizabeth feels a bit sad about this, but they continue on their journey. As they move forward, they come across remnants of a past war. Sigurd explains that nobody had been to this place for many years, but their actual destination is an island in the middle of a river, shaped like an arch called Eyjafjorden. They quickly spot it and make a wooden boat to reach the island. Following Sigurd and his wife's research, they believe the Vikings' treasure should be on this island. They all start searching for it, and the driver begins reading Sigurd's diary, which has a lot of information about the treasure. Sigurd didn't want everyone to know about it, but the driver finds and reads it anyway. Sigurd's children start getting bored and want to go home, but Sigurd insists that they stay because he needs answers to some questions. This makes his daughter angry, and she goes into the jungler. Sigurd's daughter discovers a cave, and inside she finds an iron bunker containing money and Viking clothes. The greedy driver takes these things for himself, while Sigurd and Elizabeth are talking outside. Elizabeth expresses her condolences to Sigurd about his wife's passing, understanding the difficulty of raising children alone. As Sigurd begins answering Elizabeth's questions, he hears a sound. When he investigates, he finds the cave that his son had discovered. The cave seems deep, and Sigurd believes that the Vikings might have hidden their treasure there. They use ropes they had prepared and go down one by one. In the cave, they find various items. Alan discovers an old Viking helmet in the mud, and he suggests searching the area for more. They find many valuable things. Sigurd's son discovers a mysterious large egg, but keeps it a secret. As they pack up the items, the driver suggests selling them for a lot of money. Sigurd disagrees, saying, "No, it's not like that." The driver becomes angry and greedy, saying, "Why come all this way just to give everything to the museum? We risked our lives for nothing." He uses his gun to scare everyone and takes all the valuable items from them. Firing a bullet adds to the fear, and no one dares to stop him. He goes back up, cuts the ropes used for descent, loads everything onto the boat, and sails away along the river. While on the river, the driver senses something dangerous, the same creature that attacked the Vikings years ago. Meanwhile, in the cave, Aaron discovers a human skull, frightening Sigurd's daughter. She insists on going home, but now the ropes are cut. Elizabeth, who knows how to climb, starts climbing to the top of the cave. She throws down ropes for everyone, and they manage to get out of the cave. However, they find that their boat is gone, along with the driver who took it. It's clear he must have sold the items in the black market. Unbeknownst to them, the creature in the water has killed the driver. With no means to cross the river, they decide to spend the night in the area. When Sigurd examines the human skull, he discovers a large tooth inside it. The tooth appears to be from an animal, but both Sigurd and Alan wonder what kind of creature could have such a big tooth. Without telling anyone, they return inside the cave. As they go deeper into the cave, they come across many human skulls. It becomes clear that the Vikings who came here centuries ago never made it back to their country. Hence, they were not mentioned in stories. These skulls belong to the Vikings from the beginning of the story. Seeing all this, Sigurd tells Alan, "According to my research, the Vikings of that time believed in a strange creature. They thought that one day it would destroy the whole world. However, Sigurd believed these creatures might have existed thousands of years ago and they died out. Now, for the first time, they catch a glimpse of a very big and strange animal, which scares them. They can't believe their eyes. While still in the cave, Sigurd's son finds an egg at the top. The noise from the egg wakes up Sigurd's children. As they watch, a snake emerges from the egg. When Sigurd's son feeds the snake, it eats from his hand. Elizabeth wakes up and realizes she had locked the snake's child in a box, which was making strange noises. These noises reach the creature in the water, connected to a rope tied to the broken bunker where Sigurd's children and Elizabeth are. The creature pulls the rope into the water. Sigurd and Alan also come out of the cave. Sigurd rushes to open the door to save his children. He manages to rescue his daughter and Elizabeth, but his son is still inside the bunker, stopped by a tree outside. Using this moment, Sigurd also saves his son. Everyone is very scared, especially Sigurd's children. Elizabeth suggests, "We have to find a way to get out of here." Alan discovers a box containing the snake's child. He realizes why the creature is after them. It wants to take back its child. Alan keeps the box close to him, but his intentions are unclear. Everyone is determined to escape from this dangerous situation at any cost. Elizabeth throws a rope across using a gun, and they start crossing to the other side one by one. Alan goes first, followed by the children and Elizabeth. When it's Sigurd's turn, he stops in the middle. Sigurd knows there's danger in the water, and he keeps trying to move forward. However, he can't make it, so Elizabeth comes back with the help of the rope. If Elizabeth hadn't saved him, Sigurd might have died. As Sigurd tries to go forward again, a huge snake-like creature emerges from the water and attacks him. It's the first time they've seen this creature, and it's so big that it could easily eat a person. During the attack, they both fall into the water. When the creature is about to harm them, Sigurd seizes the opportunity and they quickly get out of the water. They think the danger is only in the water, not realizing that the creature can also walk on land. They continue forward and find an old bunker. an underground passage. Sigurd now understands the Viking story. They didn't come here to hide treasure, but to kill the creature, believing it would destroy the world. The whole story was written by the daughter of the Viking king who had escaped. Now, they find a way up. When they decide to go out that way, Alan goes out first. Sigurd realizes that Alan has the creature's child, and that's why the snake creature is after him. Sigurd tells Alan, "The bag you have. I know it has the snake's child because of which it is following us. Give me that bag." Suddenly, the snake creature comes from above and kills Alan, grabbing and eating him. The bag falls into the bunker and the snake creature enters. The children run away and hide in a secret place. The snake creature, finding Sigurd and Elizabeth unconscious due to the mud, doesn't notice the children, saving their lives. However, the creature sees the children. When Sigurd hears his children's voices, he regains consciousness. Now, he faces the creature and takes the child out of the box, giving it to the creature. The creature takes its child and leaves quietly. They all safely come out of the bunker. At the end of the story, we see that Sigurd brings the stone with the Viking king's daughter's story to the museum. He gives it to the museum to share the tale. Sigurd decides to leave his job at the museum and stop searching for old things. He wants to keep the secrets around the island that looks like fire hidden. Now, Sigurd chooses to be a teacher so that he can spend more time with his children after work. This way, his research and search for old things come to an end. If you're interested in stories about old things, let us know in the comments. And that's the end of the movie story.